I sort of thought that once the week 1 rush ended, the workshop for Jurassic World Evolution 3 would calm down at least a little bit. In fact, we have well over doubled the number of blueprints since just last Sunday, now sitting at a fairly staggering nearly 30,000 items. You'll need to just calm down a little, alright? And so I'm here again to highlight a few of the best, most unique, most useful, and a couple of strange ones of course on the workshop. Let's check them out. First up, and it only came out today actually, Aviary Building 2 by Ruru is an aviary viewing gallery attachment that adds a huge Jurassic Park 3-esque din-themed aviary walkthrough to your exhibit. If you have a 3-circle aviary, you know, like a little triangle, then this fits in perfectly. That's clearly what it's been designed for, and it populates your aviary instantly with not only this fantastic looking walkway, but rocks and foliage and overgrown sections and all this kind of jazz. There's even a little dome viewing gallery included as part of the deal. Now obviously your guests aren't going to use it, they're silly billies, but it looks brilliant all the same, and very, very easy to use. Last week we highlighted the 4-in-1 guest area, and this week we've got something similar, a din-themed 3-in-1 maintenance facility by Colders, combining the response center, the paleomedical center, and the maintenance team into a single themed building. It's not overly flashy or anything, but it's compact, very, very well put together, and instantly plots into your parks so you can focus on like the more important things, you know, making your dinosaurs kill each other and such. Of course, there's a ton of Jurassic franchise stuff in the workshop, we're going to see a little bit more of it later. But these Jurassic World the Game buildings by Demultiversal YT are some of the very best out there, for a game that hasn't been getting a lot of love yet. We've got a few different buildings here, from power generators to the hologram museum, and they're all contained on these little rounded squares so you can place them down just like you're playing the app game itself. The code on the screen is for the hologram museum, but from there you can go to Dip's creator profile and access the other downloads, and of course anything else they download in the future. That same thing goes for this next set of builds by Raz the Kid, who's provided not 1 but 5 abandoned blueprints that seem inspired by the likes of The Last of Us. One of the reasons I personally was so excited by modular building was the ability to create destroyed parks and cities, and with this mini set that gets a whole lot easier. We've got a central park sort of thing, we've got 2 different residential buildings, we've got a general store, and we've got a convenience store. And there's some really nice little details like boarded up windows that let you peek into the darkness of your soul. Such things don't happen in films without some military silliness though, so this InGen military truck by Frog 2 is a perfect fit for your abandoned parks or your security sections. Intensely detailed and well made, loaded with an APS, optics, and a remote weapon station. It is genuinely really difficult to build believable looking vehicles with these modular building tools, so this is hyper impressive to me. On a related sadder note, some people out there have been stealing builds, including this one, and re-uploading them as their own. Not only is that just kind of pathetic if we're totally honest, but it diminishes the hard work of the creators. So if you see anybody doing that, if you see something like that, don't hesitate to report it. Yet another little bundle here, these incredibly detailed and game accurate Operation Genesis models by Blundermore. These are maybe the most on point JPOG recreations I've seen so far, and I'm really excited to see what else they can put together over time. But in the meantime, we've got the avoidance beacon, we've got the turret base and a separate turret. It also comes with an open or shut version, and of course that classic JPOG viewing platform in all its beauty. They've been spruced up a little to fit these modern parks, but by and large they're spot on, and yeah, one day we'll have everything and we'll be able to just make our own JPOG park. Okay, so sometimes you have to feature a build which seems utterly pointless, but it's so impressive, how could you not? One such build is the ROKN Ulsan class frigate by Pleosaur Dog. This is a South Korean naval ship, and I've got no idea at all how you'd use it in a build. I mean, I could see it in like a machinima or something with a Mosasaurus or Megalodon, that could be pretty cool. Either way, it's so bloody impressive, it really deserved showcasing. Insane levels of detail, beautifully realistic, and only one of a fleet of ships they're developing. George Mallory famously said, "Because it's there," when asked why he climbed Mount Everest. And well, I think that applies quite nicely to stuff like this as well. Why do this? Because we can. Okay, but a bit more utility now. The Biosyn Science Center by Benjo isn't flashy, but it is exceptionally well put together, tidy and neat, and perfectly themed to slot right into your Biosyn themed builds. I particularly like these gigantic metallic struts at the side and the use of grass across the roof to fit it in with the Biosyn Center we recognize from Dominion. When I say that you don't need to engage with the modular building system because people are going to hook you up, this is very much the kind of building I had in mind. Our penultimate build also has utility, but also funkiness. Benny2132 has brought us the Quad Biking ATV Rental, a redesigned maintenance facility complete with a check-in point, ATV garage and a main building. Lots of lovely little details and a really cool way to blend the facility into a more city-based or, you know, middle of nowhere, remote American style park maybe. If you've got a park that wouldn't necessarily have these big official buildings all over the place, it's got that roadside zoo kind of vibe to it a little bit, which I really like. And bonus points for me, it looks really nice at nighttime. Finally, to finish, we have Experiment 01 Scorpius Rex by Renee. Now, this is in German, so other than Experiments and Henry Wu, I don't know what the description is saying, but what it is a really cool research facility, seemingly inspired by the climactic fight from Camp Cretaceous between the two Scorpius Rexes. Now, that happened in the series in the Visitor Center, but this one feels more like an abandoned containment facility for the Scorpios, or whatever else you want to keep here, really. It's clearly inspired by it. We've got the skeleton here with the girder crashed over the neck, a very cool little detail. But either way, it's decrepit and it's abandoned, and that just gets me going. So that is it for today. I'm sure there's 10,000 incredible builds I missed, but what is a boy to do when there's literally tens of thousands of builds out there? I kind of hope we get a little bit less in the future so I can actually have a chance. Which of these was your favourite? Any other recommendations you really like that I missed? Definitely let me know down below. And I'll see you lovely folks real soon. Probably Sunday. I was a little sick this weekend. I'm still a little sick now. Actually, I'm dying. But it is what it is. So just feel bad for me. Thank you. And thank you for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.